Hello everyone, and welcome back to more G-Senjou no Maou with me, Phantom Zwei. So last time we left off with us at the branch to enter Kanon's path. I actually looked it up to make sure that I wasn't just, spouting BS last time when I told you that. And I confirmed that yes, this is the choice that will put us on Kanon's route. So, we will listen to her art. That's what I need to do. Alright. I won't hesitate any longer. Talk to me, Kanon. Gazing at her, I leave these few short words. Yes? Protect you? Partner? I suppose we're not talking about figure skating here. Can't say I do. I shake my head. You know, Kanon. She interrupted me, possibly fearing an outright refusal. Honestly, I'm astonished that you do have an interest in things like that. I sighed deeply as my sight fell down to the floor. In her heart, Kanon must be incredibly anxious, despite her leisurely attitude. Each one of my words must feel heavy to her. Well, I can't really take the moral high ground anymore by saying we're just brother and sister. But, you know, I can't just up and see you in that light. Such optimism only showcases her anxiety. On the contrary, let me ask you a question. Why do you like me? Answer me seriously. Focusing on skating for so long has stunted her ability to do other things, like uphold sincere heart-to-heart conversations. I'm on your side? There are more reliable people out there than you could ever want, Kanon. Take Ikako-san for... Kanon interrupted me a second time. Are you sure you aren't just lonely? Her words felt like droplets. She turned away from me, muttering. Huh? I was hung up on something. I remembered something as I stared at her childish profile. Hey, back when you were a kid... Nah, it's nothing. I was just thinking about how long we've known each other. When did we first meet? Starved to death. Right. That sure was a long time ago. The bath and toilet were in the same room. The walls were paper thin. There was barely enough room to move around in. It was pretty much the definition of janky. Gonzo bought it for me, as a place to stay in until I found a way to make a living. The Joker told me he'd buy me anything I needed, but I was way too scared to ask for anything big. As I look back, I can laugh at the situation. I mean, it's pretty funny if you think about it. There were cockroaches all over the place. Foreigners next door sang karaoke every freaking night. Ugh. And I almost forgot the bathtub. It was so filthy it felt more like I was washing it rather than vice versa. Oh, that place was god-awful. No, you gave it that name. Oops, forgot to silence my phone. I couldn't help but laugh. Tell me about it. Really? No, what happened?
いくらだってこうギロって睨むの。
There is no such thing as a free lunch, you know?
結局200円渡してきた。いいって言ってるのに。
I had heard that you were Gonzo's daughter. I figured it would be bad to owe you, of all people, a favor. As we found ourselves drifting into tales of the past, the tension in the room around us began to melt. You were already skating by that time, right?
うん。余裕で勝ちまくってた。
Yeah, you did. TV news teams came to my home to talk to me. You have no idea how much that annoyed me. People called me the brother of the genius skating girl. I just wanted to crawl under some rock and die. It may have been a command of Gonzo's that kept Kanon's complicated family situation largely unknown to the outside world.
兄さんのネクラなところは一生治んないんだろうね。
Shut up. I smiled bitterly.
やっぱいいな、兄さんは。
What?
兄さんだけはね、のんちゃんの味方でいてくれそう。
She wore a blissful, radiant smile.
兄さんも友達多そうに見えて、実は少ない人だろうけど、
Of all the...
のんちゃんだけは大好きだよ。
Kanon's gentle voice flows into my ears. Her breath tickles and massages me, and my strengthless knees cause my feet to stagger.
どうしたの？
Well... Is it cold in here to you?
全然。
Come on, it's freezing in here. Wait, I'm feeling dizzy, and my heart's racing.
それ恋だよ。
It's the flu, you idiot.
本当に？大丈夫？
She put her palm to my forehead nervously.
うわわ、40度くらいあるよ。
He just now noticed. Please don't scare me like that.
兄さんいつも気張ってるからだよ。もうバカ。
Well, it is true that I didn't notice it until I relaxed. Hey, Canon.
おかゆ作ればいいんだね。梅干しは入れる？
No, wait. I'm so damn cold. Can you sleep by yourself? I gave you the key to the room, right?
うん。どうしたの？
I'm going out. Bye.
ちょ。
She almost fell over when she grabbed my arm. She looked like a comedian.
なんで？
If you catch my sickness, all of Japan will hate me.
どこ行くの？
A hotel or something. No, hotels are too expensive. Aichi's palace is a possibility for the night, I suppose. Maybe I can give that little prick the flu. He's an idiot, though, so he probably won't catch it. My vision suddenly went black, and I was coated in the sensation that my body was floating in air. That escalated quickly. I opened my eyes. Kanon is gazing at me with an air of uneasiness.
わ、どうしよう、どうしよ
The sound of Kanon stomping about on the floor fills my ears. Heavy steps echo in my skull.
う。ここはのんちゃんが温めるしかない。
My mind was swallowed by darkness after hearing these words. Yep, it's the only thing that makes sense. Kanon chapter. Alright, so we are officially on Kanon's route now. We will return to the common route once we get her good ending. My parched throat ached. The smell of sweat assaulted me. My back felt the soft caress of my bed, and my eyes opened to a familiar ceiling. I knock into something as I reach out my hand for water.
いいで。
The texture of Kanon's hair greeted my hand as it fumbled around.
あ、兄さん起きた？
Kanon had been sleeping seated on the floor, laying her head and arms on the bed beside me. I suddenly understood the situation. I'm so sorry. I leaped out of bed and checked the time. You have to be at the short program today, right? Even so, Kanon only made a lazy, absent-minded sound.
うん。今から行くよ。
Are you going to be late?
集合時間には遅れてるけど、まあなんとかする。
It'll work out. But it's the Grand Prix finals. Tons of really important people will be there, won't they?
のんちゃんは人気者だから、みんな多めに見てくれる。
I'm sure they'd have their hands full trying to lecture someone that arrogant anyway. She'd gone out and bought me a water bottle and some aspirin. Warmth from the hot water bag, which I know I didn't have here yesterday, seeps into my feet. The cold, wet towel on my forehead tells me that Kanon took care of me through the whole night. Alright, I'll drive you there.
ああ、いいよ。まだきついでしょ?
I'm fine. Just get ready.
タクシー捕まえていくよ。
I said I'm fine.
だって、兄さんいいの？のんちゃん乗せて車で会場乗り込んだら、人に噂されるよ。
Shut your mouth and hurry it up.
じゃあ、わかった。ありがとう。
In truth, though, I should be the one to thank her.
この辺でいいよ。
I got out of the car and accompanied her the rest of the way.
よーし。今日もトップ取るぞ。
Kanon raised her arm in a lively manner despite staying up all night.
Kanon-chan?
Ikiko-san was shouting to Kanon from the competitor's entrance. She rushed over to Kanon.
Kanon-chan, どうしたの？ヒルトン先生も怒ってらっしゃるのよ。今日は世界連合の代表の方も見えられてて、カノンちゃんに会いたがってたのに。
うん。今から行くよ。
一体どうしたっていうの、カノンちゃん。何があったの？
I'm very, very sorry, Ikiko-san. The truth is, Kanon interrupted me.
なんだっていいでしょ。偉い人に挨拶とかめんどくさかっただけだよ。リンクの外でヘコヘコするなんて私の仕事じゃないよ。
Ikiko-san smiled wide.
カノンちゃん、ごめんなさい。そんなに嫌だった？
もういいよ。行こう。
Hey, Kanon.
のんちゃんは嘘はついてない。
Kanon answered gravely. Indeed, it wasn't a lie. But that wasn't the problem. Kanon and Ikiko-san vanished into the arena before I had time to explain. Shit. I just got Kanon into so much trouble. I considered my options before being swallowed by the waves of repentance. At some point in the afternoon, I received word from Haribe while waiting for Takeda. That's not a good way to open a conversation. Haribe's report boiled my blood. Saijo's babbling pushed his guards over the edge, and they beat him to death. What the fuck were they thinking? We'd finally captured Mao's accomplice. But with this, we've lost our only lead. Kanon. She'll be... Then take that official apology bullshit and shove it up your ass where it belongs. I can't help but get angry as Kanon's face crosses my mind. Sorry. Look, let's just focus on what to do from here on out. I'm sorry for lashing out at you. Anyway, I'll contact you again soon. I need to tell Usami and Tokita about the sudden shift in scenario. Canon scenario? Haha. Usami finally arrived at the rendezvous point.
ユキは来ないそうです。もうお役に立てることはないでしょうと言っていました。
It's alright. I feel bad for Tokita.
となると、これから打つべき手がわからなくなりましたね。
What we do know is that Maou has his eyes set on Ikiko-san. I'll have the men sent to protect her at the arena. Usami shook her head uncertainly. I know. The arena already has a sanctioned security force. If we try to take matters into our own hands, the two groups might get in each other's ways.
いても立ってもいられないご様子ですね。
Alright. Maou wants to see Kanon fail, right? If so, then he may use force.
カノンに怪我を負わせるような。
We can't eliminate the possibility, can we?
はい。何も言えません。ただ、私は私で動いてみます。
Alright, do it. Contact me immediately if you find anything. Usami nodded lightly and vanished into the crowd. I rushed to the arena. Even though the sun still hadn't set, a profuse number of people had gathered in the seating area of the arena. I used my position as Kanon's brother to make my way to the special staff-only passage. I needed to call Ichigo-san out of her meeting. Come to think of it, Ichigo-san isn't Kanon's official... excuse me. Isn't Kanon's official coach. You'll mistake drinking some soda. That would normally just make her a standard guest, but perhaps she's being allowed in as staff due to her role in supporting Kanon up until now. Who knows? Maybe she even used some sort of connection with the tournament directors.
Kyousuke-kun? どうしたの?
It's nothing to worry about. Are you busy at the moment?
いいのよ。今カノンちゃんも機嫌が悪くてね。取り付く島もない状態なのよ。自分が遅刻したのにね。
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. First thing out of her mouth is a complaint? So, anything strange going on?
変わったこと?
Yeah, as anything around you seemed off somehow recently. Well, besides the guys tailing you all the time. I didn't want to start a discussion about the Yakuza escort arranged by Gonzo.
ええ。どうやらあの人に命令されているようね。
That man means Gonzo.
いきなり何なのかしらね。私はもうとっくに捨てられた女だというのに。
A jeer leaked out.
ああ、ごめんなさいね。京介君には関係のないことね。
Her face relaxed, but a harshness lingered for a moment in her eyes. As if to plead, you make sure to go give him an earful for me too, Kyousuke-kun.
何が起こってるの?
I don't know. I'm not very clear on the matter.
カノンちゃんに関わること?
One would usually jump to this conclusion. No, definitely not. If I make one little mistake with my word choice, she may advertise the problem to everyone around her.
でも変よね。あの人はカノンちゃんのためなら動くでしょうけど、私のために何かするようなことはないと思うんだけれど。
Kanon will be crushed if Ichigo-san is killed. Anyone could tell this mother and her daughter aren't getting along well, but she's still her mother.
ひょっとして私のボディーガードでもしてくれているのかしら。
Who knows? This is bad. Not bad. It's bad. I probably should have just let sleeping dogs lie. Well, I'm sure it's nothing. I wouldn't worry about it.
そう？何も起こらないといいけれど。
That's the one sure way to make sure that something will happen, Ichigo-san. A man approached us as we talked. A man with a camera on his shoulder. An armband bearing the message "Camera Allowed" swung loosely from his jacket sleeve.
どうも、金崎育子コーチですよね。
He's probably a reporter from a magazine. The man bowed his head and shot Ichigo-san a flattering glance.
ちょっとお話よろしいですか？
ええ、構いませんよ。私でいいんですか?
She put on a steady smile, as if changing into another person. The man told her his name and the magazine he worked for. It was hardly a publisher worth noting. They're known for publishing racy books about celebrity scandals and Yakuza.
実はコーチに一つ執筆をお願いしたいんですがね。
本を?
去年の世界大会はぶっちゃけひどいもんだったでしょう。
Ichigo-san gracefully shook her head.
次回の出場枠が一つになってしまったとはいえ、皆さん頑張っていらっしゃったと思いますよ。
いやいや、カノンさんが出てれば違ってたでしょうね。
どうでしょうね。
コーチが育てた選手でしょ。
The reporter smiled with glaring teeth. Ichigo-san's attitude was resolute, but she couldn't hide the nervous smile pulling at the corners of her mouth. I had better leave this place. I just can't bring myself to like this woman. Yeah, he seems to have a very negative perspective when it comes to her in general. Granted, she seems kind of like a person that kind of warrants that perspective, but you know. Time flows on, and the arena is still. A number of skilled foreign skaters came out on the ice and were bathed in applause. 8 p.m. rolled around. The last group of competitors took to the ice for a warm-up. The arena thundered loudly with applause as they skated into the rink. It seemed the audience went crazy every time Kanon struck a dynamic jump. I was on edge. Mao's trap aside, I was worried about Kanon's health. She hardly slept for taking care of me. Can she perform up to snuff when not at the top of her game? As I pondered this, I took a call from Usami.
そちらはどうです？
Seems good enough. If I didn't know better, I'd say everything's going smoothly.
おかしいですね。何か仕掛けてくるとしたら今日だと思うのです。
Where are you, by the way?
西条の荷物を漁っていたところです。パスポートと航空券が出てきました。本日最終の便で海外に逃げる予定だったようです。
I see. That confirms he had something planned for today.
西条の協力なくしては成し得ない計画だったとしたら、魔王も今頃二の足を踏んでいるかもしれません。
Saijo had the arena ticket, right?
はい、ありました。今日のショートプログラムの観戦チケットです。
Sure enough, something's going down here today.
浅井さん、私はこの事件は
The call ended before she was able to finish her sentence. My cell phone lost its signal. I'd have stepped outside to call her back, but all the entrances were congested by the monstrous crowd. Nothing I can do, I guess. Time simply passed by, and the growing sense of impatience within me seemed too crushing to endure. The situation turned out for the best, contrary to my earlier expectations. Nothing had come to pass. If I had to report something, it'd be that Canon dished out another fantastic score. I almost collapsed from relief upon seeing Canon standing safely at the arena's entrance. You'd have thought that my fever came back with a vengeance or something. No harm had come to Ichigo-san either. There was no problem at all. How very fishy, eh?
たった今。
I drove Canon back to my apartment.
兄さん、たった今だよ。おかえりは？
We came back together, if you haven't noticed. Canon looks silly now compared to her bewitching aura on the ice.
風邪治ってよかったね。
Thanks to you. But don't use that as an excuse to get all cocky on me, you hear?
うんうん。のんちゃんのおかげだよ。兄さんが今生きてるのは。
My fever wasn't that bad. How much? I gave Canon that glare she thought would kill her all those years ago.
100億万円です。
That's a lot. No, seriously. How much did you shell out for the aspirin and the hot water bag? Just give me the receipt. We'll be squared away in no time.
レシートなんて捨てるもん。
What? You idiot!
兄さん面白いな。
Listen, you need to start holding on to your receipts. Besides being good practice, it'd probably make you realize just how much money you've been wasting.
ほう。
I took out the 10,000 yen from my wallet as I clicked my tongue. Or took out, not the, but took out 10,000 yen. Here.
おお。兄さんが大雑把に1万円くれるなんて熱でもあるんじゃない？
I did last night. Take it.
受け取らないと兄さんは納得しないんだろうな。ああ、ネクラだな。
She pulled the money out from between my fingers, grumbling all the while. I'm sorry. I really am.
何が？
Well, I was just worried that your short program might suffer because of me.
もう気にするな。結果が全てだ。これパパリンがよく言ってる。
Get to sleep early today. I reclined on my sofa and turned on the TV. Upon switching to the sports news, I saw Canon smile behind a microphone.
明日もこの調子でいきます。
The famous athlete on the screen used a totally different tone from my sister.
のんちゃん大人っぽいな。
Canon watched the interview with me and commented on her television self. Judging by the video alone, Canon seems like a mature adult woman. After Canon, Seda Makiko came up to speak. Her petite, charming frame suited televised interviews nicely.
カノンさんに追いつけ追い越せで頑張りたいなと。皆さんの期待に添えられるよう明日は全力を尽くします。
She sounded like a voice actress in an anime. She was a small girl and seemed to be quite likable. Hey Canon, what do you think about her saying that? Canon's eyes widened.
瀬戸さんファイナル残ってたんだ。
You'd better not say that in front of other people. Though Kanon doesn't mean anything by it, people would think she's ridiculing the girl.
いや忘れてた。そっかそっか。そうだったね。
You don't even follow the other skaters, do you?
瀬田さんもやるね。今日は62点か。
I watched people cry when you got a 70.3.
罪深いですな、のんちゃんは。
Why is she so laid back? However, when the replay of her program started running, Kanon's eyes changed.
遅い。遅すぎる。
She's glaring with hatred at another self. Despite having such a high score, she's still not content.
目線がふらついているのは睡眠不足が原因かな。
She kept her voice low. I'm so sorry. Really, I swear.
今日は寝るから大丈夫だよ。
Alright. She's kind of scary. I turned off the TV, pretending that I hadn't noticed.
やっぱりのんちゃんは悪くないな。
About what?
今日コーチにね、ヒルトン先生じゃないよ。なんかね、スピンの時もっとエッジをフラットに使って回転を速くしたらって言われたんだけどね。
Yeah, and?
曲に合ってないんだな。ちょうど曲が穏やかになった時のスピンだから、そんな超スピードで回んなくてもいいんだよね。
I don't really understand what you're getting at. Did you mess up?
微妙にね。違和感だったね。すぐ持ち直したけど。あれなかったら、あと1点は伸びたね。
You'd better listen to what Mr. Hilton says. Ikiko-san isn't your coach.
ごもっとも。でも、のんちゃんは正しかった。
There seems to be discord between Ikiko-san and Mr. Hilton.
でね、兄さん。
She looked at me seriously. What?
あんまり気にしたらいけないんだろうけど。
Is this the follow-up of yesterday? I want to be your partner.
それも気になるけど。
Kanon spoke with a little bit of irritation and a little bit of sadness.
コーチ、命狙われてるの？
I don't know how to answer. What does my face look like right now, I wonder? At the very least, I doubt I look relaxed. But, danger? I turned the question back with a reluctant smile.
やっぱ冗談だよね。
I'm not really sure what you're getting at. What's wrong?
なんかね、演技が終わって帰ろっかなって時に、コーチが真顔でそんなこと言い出したの。
That damn woman! It must have been some horrible gag.
ちょっとびっくりした。
I wouldn't worry about it if I were you.
なんだろう。のんちゃんが不機嫌そうだったから、構ってほしかったのかな。
Yeah, that's probably it. Why? She shouldn't disturb her daughter, even if it really were only a joke. I knew she was self-centered, but to think she'd go that far. Alright, let's take a bath. Today is special, so I'll wash your hair for you. However, Kanon's face was still full of suspicion.
パパの部下みたいな人がコーチの周りにいるのもそうなのかな。
Huh? Is that what's got you thinking about that your mom's life is in danger?
だってパパ怖い人でしょ。拳銃持ってるの見たことあるもん。
But why would that mean Ikiko-san's life is in danger?
でもさ、スケートも人気だからさ、たまーに頭のおかしい人から事務所に脅迫状とか届いたりするらしいよ。
So? Those are jobs for the police. Is Papa a policeman?
違うね。そっか。じゃあなんでもないか。
That was way too close for comfort. A chill ran through me when she said threat letter. Don't think too much. Just prepare yourself for tomorrow, and everything will be fine. Her face simply didn't seem willing to accept it.
そうだね。今さら他のこと気にしちゃダメだよね。
I didn't fail to spot the deep sadness in her eyes.
これは冗談だけどね。たとえコーチが死んじゃっても気にしちゃダメだよね。
Kanon's face suddenly took on a ghostly pallor. It was a face of anger, a face of despair, a face that overwhelmed me entirely. The girl before me is a girl who lives for skating. Kanon always corners herself into that role, it seems. And when she does, I become a prisoner of that unstable region of her heart. I want to be your partner. Kanon.
どうしたの？真面目な顔して。
Right back at you. Don't look at me like that.
そんな顔？なんで？別に普通じゃない。
Her voice lays the blame with me.
だって誰も本当のこと教えてくれないんだもん。のんちゃんはスケートやっていればいいんだもん。みんなスケートやれって言うんだもん。兄さんすらやれって言った。
I look at Kanon, shocked. A doubt flows over my mind. Yet I speak without hesitation. So the truth is, you don't like skating? Kanon's eyes are filled with hatred.
好きとか嫌いとかじゃなくて、やるしかないの。
She stares at me without any movement whatsoever.
この話はおしまい。明日はフリー。ただ勝つ。それだけ。
She lays her words on me, syllable by syllable, trying desperately to suppress her pain.
兄さん、もう余計なこと言わないでね。
She continued in a soft-hearted whisper.
兄さんが悪い。のんちゃんは悪くない。
Although her ride at the Valkyries may not have been playing, Kanon was no longer in my room, but upon the ice. She's only my sister in name. This moment has forced me to take a good, hard look at the girl I've ignored until now. I felt that she was pitiful. Me, of all people, feeling pity. And the chronic headache, which had plagued me for so long, left, as if it had never even been there. Intriguing, no? Kanon vision! Kanon had always been cold to her mother, Ikiko. She had no idea when she began to feel such discontent concerning her mother. For all Kanon knew, her heart had been dead since she entered adulthood. For whatever reason, her mother simply seemed abnormal to her childish mind. She was just too beautiful and obsessed with keeping up appearances.
お母さん、パパは？
Non-chan was not supposed to know.
のんちゃん、スケートは楽しい？楽しいでしょ？大勢の人が喜んでくれるものね。お母さんもとっても嬉しいわ。だから、のんちゃんはスケートのことだけを考えてればいいの。
うん。でもみんなパパがお家にいるよ。
のんちゃんはみんなとは違うの。特別な子なの。だって見てごらんなさい。のんちゃんのお友達は氷の上で飛んだりできる？
できない。
Children are sensitive to lies, and Kanon was a particularly sensitive girl. Thus, even at that age, she understood that her mother was hiding something from her. Her mother's surname was Kanesaki, so why was her surname Azai? However, though their names may have been different, Ikiko had doted on Kanon far too strongly for Kanon to see her as a complete stranger. Ikiko gave Kanon everything she ever wanted. From lovely dolls to the latest video games to adorable clothes which any of Kanon's friends would envy.
カノンちゃんのためなら何でもしてあげる。お金なんて後からついてくるのよ。私もそうだったから。
Kanon quickly grew tired of it all. After winning various competitions as a child, she soon discovered a fundamental truth about human nature. That getting what you want isn't as satisfying as unless you earned it yourself. Her wish for a father was finally realized after receiving, and while she was still in grade school no less, a special invitation to compete in the Japan Championships on a senior level. Until that point, she had been competing in the novice A lists, not even at the junior level. Despite being unable to bring home the title, her papa had stroked her head kindly at their first encounter. Damn, son. Although Kanon did not understand her father's words, she was relieved to know that she too had a father. For the first time, she felt glad she had started skating.
お母さん、パパいたよ。
そう。
褒めてくれたの。
そう。
As she watched Kanon laugh and dance, Ikiko bathed in discontent. "Go fuck yourself," she muttered under her breath. Hearing her, Kanon's heart froze once again. Kanon's day-to-day life of skating rolled ever forward. Ikiko was extremely kind. She detested coaches who swore at their athletes and cared for Kanon as well as she could. It had reached the point where Kanon had started to consider Ikiko's instruction to be nothing more than flattery. But even still, for the sake of victory, Kanon was expected to give many times more effort than anyone else. In order to maintain her weight, her lifestyle was harshly controlled. She would stay awake the whole night beside the sleeping Ikiko, watching recordings of her performances. When her first menstrual cycle came, she gained weight and had trouble managing it. It was only after seeking help from a sports medicine expert at a prestigious university that she was able to rebuild her physical condition from the ground up. Behind all of this torturous training, though, Kanon maintained her smile for the media, taking time out of her schedule regularly to mold her image as the genius skating girl.
もうお母さんが教えられることなんてほとんどないわね。
Ikiko eventually retired from the ice. She stood beside the rink as a stranger, occasionally pointing out small mistakes. Officials from the International Skating Union wanted to separate Kanon and Ikiko. However, a change of coaches was never enforced due to in part to Kanon's strong opposition to it. And yet, Kanon had no memory of ever opposing such a thing. In the end, Kanon's full potential remained underutilized until the famous coach George Hilton confronted the International Skating Union on her behalf. She may have gotten it by in the novice and junior lists using only her natural talent, but the senior level, with its many great experienced skaters, was more competitive than Kanon could have dreamed. All responsibility fell onto Ikiko. After last year's fiasco, Ikiko's coaching ability was called into question.
カノンちゃん、ごめんね。私でごめんね。
The mother would often apologize to her daughter.
私が全部悪いのよ。カノンちゃんは何も悪くないからね。
Officials and sponsors from the event, reporters, agents, school teachers. She beseeched various people in various fields. Ikiko's position as Kanon's mother was a small one to begin with, but she had been demoted even further to the level of just coach. Yet at the same time, Kanon's arrogance continued to swell. Kanon knew that she was being arrogant, but could do nothing about it. Like a rebellious child who wants to kill his parents, but knows that he can't actually do it, a tiny devil was planted within Kanon's heart. As it grew, that Maou of the ice closed the doors to her heart with hatred, endlessly repeating her mother's words.
のんちゃんは悪くない。
That's right. After all, who'd ever want to submit to anyone? At last, Kanon fell to the plotting demon. Time stopped. Whoops! There was no pain, no fear. A triple Lutz, then a triple toe loop. Her double triple was a surefire way to score well. Yet it was not the outside edge of Kanon's right skate that collided with the ice, but her back, which hadn't come crashing down since her collision last year. Strange, Kanon thought. Why is there no applause? Why am I in such a position? Why is the music leaving me behind without my permission? The lute is considered a particularly difficult counter-rotated jump. Ugh. That's exactly why Kanon had practiced so hard on it during training. She trained until the height-distance ratio of her jump was perfected. She'd continued training until the audience connected Azai Kanon herself with the triple lutes. That very jump, which should have been the celebratory champagne for her glorious victory, betrayed Kanon in the 11th hour, a mere 15 seconds into the free skate. I can't win. I'll lose. She fell on the ice and interrupted her performance. She'd already lost so many points. With programs as precise as a machine, a single loose screw would cause total collapse. Her victory was long gone. The triumph that was so easily hers. Who was it? Feelings buried in Kanon's heart bared their fangs. Who was to blame for this? After all, Non-chan did nothing wrong. So, this is the result. I flipped open tonight's newspaper. They too made Kanon's disappointing performance out to be the top scoop of the century. I couldn't tear myself away from the television or the internet that night. If Kanon had merely fallen down, it wouldn't have been an issue, but she stopped and stared at the ice for a whole 12 seconds. Even I'm wondering why Kanon failed to stand up again. It's not rare for a skater to fall down during a competition. They make an adjustment and continue their program, no matter who they are. Hell, if they only fall down once, they still have a shot at the gold. However, Kanon continued beyond the regulated free skate duration and skated overtime. She caused quite a ruckus among the spectators, and not in a good way. Cold eyes poured on Kanon from every direction. I understood the reason after listening to a television interview. Numerous shining floodlights, numerous waiting microphones, welcomed Kanon as she left the arena. Kanon pushed the reporters away without even an attempt to hide her displeasure. This is terrible. Oh man. So now she's throwing blame on Ikiko, and oh boy. Someone wants to kill Ikiko? Who on earth would believe that? The cops might mount an investigation for good measure, but Gonzo will keep the truth well hidden. After seeing this report, Gonzo must have burned the threat letter. At the end, she covered the camera with her hand and cut the picture. This is bad. Maou didn't make a move today. The conflict between the Sonoyama group and the Shinei group ended this morning. I felt a streak of good fortune coming on, but I guess I jumped the gun with that bit of analysis. The image of Kanon on the screen changed to something else. It was the winner of this year's Grand Prix of the figure skating, Seda Makiko. She took a moment to cry, overcome with emotion. Seda gave a solid performance today and jumped from her 4th place spot after the short program to 1st place. She showed no sign of acting solely for the television. She gave off nothing but a brave and hard-working aura. The contrast between these two girls will be great for the media. Kanon's coach, Hilton, refused to comment on her performance today. Why then did Ikiko come out and speak shamelessly? This worried me. She bowed her head and apologized to everyone honestly. It's what she's gotten used to doing. But the fact that she added, on Kanon's behalf, annoyed me, because I knew the truth. I received a call at that moment. What? I'm in a bad mood. I don't fucking know! More or less. Shit, Eiichi. This is some bad news, man. I know, right? Look, I gotta go. Fucking hell! I'd totally forgotten. Aichi's saying that if Kanon wants to skate at Worlds, she needs to win the Japan Championships. And since she lost the Grand Prix, she would have to beat the second place skater by a large point margin to feel secure in her position. If she doesn't compete in the World Championships, she'll be ineligible to come to the next Winter Olympics. Kanon has already reached her prime skating years, so the upcoming Japan Championships will decide her whole career. The door squeaked open in protest, and the most talked about girl in Japan entered my room. Hey there, you're pretty late. Did you eat dinner? She pouted.
Nani?
Apparently, she doesn't like my stare. Kanon averted her eyes and headed for the bath. A few short moments later, I heard the sound of running water. 5 minutes passed by. 10 minutes. The bathroom kept silent other than the sound of the shower running. I heard sobs over the water every now and then. The bathroom light never once turned on. Kanon must have been devastated. I was shocked upon seeing Kanon walk out of the dark bathroom. Yeah, boobies! And, yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna figure out a way to censor this, or else I'm gonna have to cut this whole scene. But anyway, I have no idea if this will actually make it in the video, but here we go. What the heck, Kanon? Put some clothes on! You'll catch a cold. Her long, wet hair clung to her hips. Water droplets glided down her full figure. With a tormented face, she looked at me like a ghost. Her voice was hoarse. I appeased her with a shake of my head. Fragile. That skating star on the ice had vanished. Because it's not Non-chan's fault. Only a desperate, love-starved girl stood before me. Two thin lips continued to move silently. Like a robot doll with a loose screw, she talked more and more slowly. She spoke in a soulless, broken manner, but I understood her. Please save me. Surely there's some gentle person out there, someone who can warm my heart. I saw my past self in her. When I was frozen, in a broken house far in the north, I had wished for the same. I know. My emotions for Kanon are more pity than love. And pitiful it is. I'm among those godless fiends who use Kanon. But in the end, Kanon has no choice but to rely on us heretics. And devils can save people too. Just like that snowy night when Gonzo saved me. There are people out there who can't wait for Providence to extend a holy savior's hand. I thought over what I was about to do. Even heretics have some pride. Very well. I've decided to take responsibility. I answered Kanon's request by reaching for her cold skin. When I embraced Kanon, my lower half reacted to her soft body. I took off my clothes, exposing me giggity giggity. Shared a kiss, and yeah, this is the point where we cut off for sure. Okay, and we're back. Kyousuke just got to have some fun. Kanon feels loved. Good things all around, right? Nothing but happiness from here on out, I'm sure. Kanon looked happy as she slowly succumbed to sleep. Alright, now see if we can fit in one more scene here. A week passed. There was but one more week before the fateful Japan Championships. Kanon silently continued to practice. On the other hand, I attended school as usual, keeping myself busy with the Zai Corporation matters. The night Kanon and I slept together almost seems like a dream. We're acting so casual about the whole thing that I can't help but wonder if it was just my imagination. Still, Kanon doesn't seem to have any regrets about it. She's back to her old smile, and as selfish as ever. I promised myself that I would come to understand her, even if I was the only one. I see. Mao's kept quiet, huh? I spoke to Usami between classes. You think Ikiko's television antics made him extra cautious? I mean, she addressed comments about being marked for death. Yeah. Well, from the very beginning, we never knew what his true motives were. There's been absolutely no word from him. Well, if something were to happen, it would happen during the Japan Championships. I can understand why she'd have her doubts. Look, the letter was aimed at bringing down Kanon. Last week, she was completely bested. But it doesn't add up for you, does it? With a desolate face, she responds. Why?
強いて言えば、もし私が魔王で本当にカノンを破滅させたいのであれば、この1週間は無駄にはしなかったでしょう。
Fantastic. Shouldn't you be happy?
ですね。浅井さんとももうお別れですね。
Huh? She started her crazy talk again.
魔王が消えれば、勇者も旅立つものです。
Just like real life. Yeah, yeah.
浅井さんにはカノンがいますしね。
What?
これも勘です。
She smiles peacefully.
ユキほどではありませんが、私もこと浅井さんに関しては鋭いつもりです。
Ugh, cut it out. You're giving me the heebie-jeebies.
さーて、午後の授業が始まりますよ。
Usami leaves me and disappears. What's up with her?
陽介、最近カノンはどうよ。
Huh? Come on, man. You know as well as I do that she's been practicing.
ほら、車のメーカー、カノンと契約打ち切るって。
Yeah. I guess they were acting in their own self-interest. After Kanon got such a bad rep from the media, I guess it was a natural response for a business.
どいつもこいつもクズばっかりだよな。みんなして手のひら返しやがって。
Yeah, crude? But hey, kind of agree. They aren't necessarily fair-weather fans. When you're popular, you're bound to make a few enemies.
カノンはよ、確かに根は極悪な女だよ。何度も俺を怒らせたよ。そういう本性を見せちまったわけだからな。
What about Seta?
わかるだろ。人気急上昇だよ。昨日の特番見たか？やっぱり最後は努力した人間が勝つみたいな泣ける話だったぜ。
Well, she probably did work hard.
ぶっちゃけファイナルのセタはすごかったぜ。NKH 杯でダブルだったジャンプをトリプルに変えてきた。マジで優勝狙ってたんだな、あのモヘコ。
Moeko? Oh, what?
ネット上じゃみんなそう呼んでるの。燃えるじゃん、あのキャラと声と。カノンは女王様みたいな扱いだったけど、今じゃひどいもんだ。
The situation is completely reversed. I heard Kanon was dropped from a Christmas variety show. Supposedly Seta took her place.
とにかく世界記はもうセタみたいな動きになってるのがうざいね。
Yeah, I've read an article a while back that bothered me too. Some sleazy magazine went so far as to call Kanon the shame of Japan. All she can do is try to win the Japan Championships, right?
つーかそれしかね。2位に大差つけて勝てば誰も文句は言えねえから。
We both let out a sigh. Class resumed that afternoon, though actually, class will actually resume in the next episode because this episode is really long. So, hope you guys are enjoying the game as much as I am. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.